All right. Well, hey, Coaches Up for Change. It's Dee Corchin. We are coming together. We're here on Monday night for our weekly team time. We come to here. If you are new to our team, welcome. Or if you haven't been here in a while, welcome back. But we are open here every Monday night at 7:28. And we come here for community, for learning, for growing. And it's always amazing to see who's on here. Always something is said. I will tell you, in 11 years of coaching, every training I attend, whether it's our own team or something outside, I learn from something and just benefit from being in the room with like-minded people. So we're going to start. I've got a library, I said earlier, of inspirational videos, but this one really struck me today. I heard it on a walk, and it uses the word toxic, which is kind of negative, but there's some things in here I think we can all relate to, and then we're going to spin it into something positive as we open the call. So give me 1 second.
Amaze me is how universal our struggle with self-worth is as human beings. I've met some of the most famous and successful people in the world, and it's amazing how low their sense of self-worth is. I've met some of the most beautiful and talented people in the world, and it is amazing how much they struggle with issues related to self-worth. Here are 4 toxic habits that may be killing your self-worth. 1, comparing yourself to other people. Comparisons are worthless in a world of beautifully unique individuals. And comparing ourselves to others leads us to think about all we are not rather than all we are. 2, thinking you know what other people are thinking about you. Perhaps you think they don't like you. Perhaps you think they are looking down on you and judging you. Perhaps you think they think they are better than you. The truth is, most people don't have that much time to think about you because they are too busy thinking about themselves. Number 3, setting unrealistic expectations for yourself. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day. So even if they accomplish a great many things, they still feel they have failed. This is just one simple example, but this approach bleeds into every aspect of our lives. Start setting reasonable expectations. And number 4, judging yourself by the worst thing you ever did. People are not who they were on their best day or their worst day. We are all more dynamic and more complicated and more wonderful than that. It's time to let go of your worst day and move on to create some more best days. How we feel about ourselves impacts how we relate with others. How we feel about ourselves impacts our physical health, and how we feel about ourselves is much more within our influence than we sometimes realize. If you found this video helpful.
All right. Raise your hand if you can relate to any of that. The comparison. Yep. Living in the past, something that's happened in your past. Assuming we know what other people are thinking about us. Is so good. All right. So what I wanted to do tonight, because we are in Thanksgiving week, right? So we're in the week of Thanksgiving. Usually a lot of times people with the month of November, it's a month of gratitude, taking time to appreciate. What I would really love is just to take a moment, one, just to personally thank you guys and let you know how grateful I am to be able to partner with each one of you, even if I don't know you in depth personally, know that I know you, and that I am glad you're here and that you are on this mission with us. I value you as an individual, I value us as a team, and I am personally super grateful for what Optavia has offered in my life. If I think back 11 years ago, who I was as an individual and how limited and how small my world was and what Optavia opened me up to, I am eternally grateful. So what I would love for you to maybe drop in the chat is something that you are grateful for through Optavia, physical health or through taking this full offering, I think, which is our best offering of coaching. Just drop in the chat. Let's read some of this of how Optavia has impacted your life, because I think when we focus on the positive, it can take us far. The community, the personal growth, the friendships, personal change. Yep. Friends. Yeah. And one thing we don't talk about much, but drop a 1 in the chat if the income that you've made has made a difference for you and your family. Has the income helped? We don't talk about that a lot, but as Frank did a study or a thing on one time, money's not everything, but it absolutely is something. So yeah, and time flexibility. Put a 2 in the chat if you like the flexibility of what you can do through coaching. Yeah. So it's just something to keep in mind, because what we're thinking about, just like what Matthew Kelly said when he talked about, if we're thinking that other people are thinking negatively of us or whatever, if whatever that mindset, whatever we're thinking is going to come out. So as we enter this topic tonight, we're going to talk about the 4 steps to integration. I want you to just kind of pause throughout this and where's your mindset around some of this? And maybe could it be maybe impacting your outcomes? So I have a couple of people who will be sharing with me tonight, but I'm going to kick it off first by saying a lot of this is mirroring what was just covered in the Set for Success bootcamp. So when I post the recording for this, I'll have the link to that. So if you want to get any of the documents or, watch that video, you're more than welcome to if you want to go more in depth. But what I really liked about this when they talked about integration was we're really kind of talking about 2 things. We know that Optavia has 4 components to the program, 4 components. So we know that we're offering what nobody else is offering, and an opportunity for somebody to have the accountability and support of a personal coach, which is each of one of us on this call, and along with the 67,000 others within Optavia, that we are offering them education, that we are offering them a way to actually start to look at themselves and break away from the diet mentality that they had, the behavioral side of it, the lifestyle habits, and move into and become that dominant force in their life. That's right on the Life Book, what Dr. A talks about. They get community, right? Being with like-minded people, and they get the bomb diggity of a weight loss plan, right? And an eating plan. So we have to be careful that when we're coaching, we have to remember that people don't know what they don't know. And a big part of what we're doing in our role is we are awakening other people to what is possible, right? Like, put a 5 in the chat if you had no idea that you would become a coach when you said yes to Optavia, right? So look at that. So most of us came into this, we didn't know what we didn't know. So keep that in mind. Many people will come into Optavia with very strong opinions, very strong thoughts, they've always done things a certain way. They're going to try to tell you how they're going to do things. But what we're going to do is just work to practice and flex and build our confidence and our posturing and how we talk about these 4 components with individuals and how we help move them into integrating them in a positive way. We can't drag anybody to be the best version of themselves, but it is our responsibility to awaken them, to guide them, and to encourage them. And that sometimes takes multiple attempts. But there are some best practices in place, some best practices of things that we can do that will lead to a better outcome in terms of our clients embracing those 4 components. And when we use the word integration, for this call, what the integration for this is actually helping people see our entire offering, including coaching. Now, will they say yes to it? We don't know, but we know that coaching is for them, right? There's so many benefits for them. And through coaching, I know for most of us, I got a whole lot more into my Life Book and Habits of Health book when I was coaching versus when I was doing the program without it. So it all leads together. And we know that coaching can actually lead to the biggest life transformation. Some of those things that we said in our comments. So there's really, here's the 4 steps. So if you're taking notes, you can write this first one down. The first one is in our posturing on the health assessment. So, we typically go through the health assessment. We find out, what it is that they're looking for, what about that is important to them, their why. We identify what's been their struggle, what's been their problem. And then we talk about the 4 components of the program. And if we're, if we've done our job, right, and they're ready, and that is just simply a match if they're ready, or when they become ready, that is just as simple that, yes, they're ready to take that next step. But an important step here during the health assessment process, because I know a lot of us are new, and even some of us as experienced coaches, we want that yes, right? We're excited for them. We want them to say yes, but we're also just like, all right, let's go. I got the yes, right? Let's go. Let's get the order placed. Let's go. But this is also the time that we want to slow down and we want to get some commitments from them. So we go through the 4 components and then we say, okay, we've gone through this. Do you see how this can help you achieve your goals and help you with that problem of eating out all the time and give you the structure, the convenience and everything. And then you get a yes. And then the posturing is at that point, and this really needs to take practice, and something you say with confidence is, okay, great, because I am ready to partner with you. But here's the deal. Here's what I know. What I know is that the clients, like the clients you see on my Facebook page, the clients that you see having great success, they embrace all 4 components of the program. So the number one thing, can I get your commitment? If we're going to enter into this, can I get your commitment that you are going to stay connected to me? So we're posturing it up front that there is going to be a connection between you. It is through these connections that we're going to be able to be talking about these components of the program and continue to bring them to the next steps and the next best practices. But can I get your commitment that we're going to do that? Can I also get your commitment that you're going to take this further than the eating plan, that you will embrace, if I guide you in how to do it in a simple way, that you will embrace the educational component. We'll be talking about it in our weekly calls, as well as our Facebook group and our community. And so we're posturing it that like my most successful clients do this, and people do what other people do. So what we're going to do is elevate them up. Like, hey, if you want to be successful, this is the expectation of what we're going to be doing. Now, a lot of you guys have coached with me a long time. This is not really wording that we've used before, and maybe it's new to you, and that's A-okay. I just encourage you to start to practice it. Start to practice that wording and then edify it again when you do your journey kickoff call, edify again. Hey, just a reminder, we're going to be touching base, whatever. Can I get your commitment that you're going to, be there for those calls? So that's the number one thing, is that we're going to be making that commitment. We're also in that first call going to talk about the importance that, hey, you know what? The most successful clients live their journey out loud. Now that might be something that is new to you, right? Because if you're like many people, maybe you haven't been successful in the past, but our clients live out loud. And basically what that means is inviting your world to be there to celebrate and cheer you on, right? Now, we are not necessarily asking for an agreement during that health assessment that they are going to post on social media on day 8. Like, they don't even know what they don't know. But what we're going to do is talk about dieting in the dark, how it doesn't work, and how posturing, and we're going to talk about a couple different ways that they can do that. But what we want to do is right from the get-go be talking about sharing out loud, so that when we do get to talking about their accountability post, that it's not such a shock to the system. So that is really step one, is those commitments during the health assessment. The second step is the way day post, posturing them and teeing them up that they're going to do an accountability post. And I've invited Jessica Pope to share on that. This is something she has embraced and having great success on. So Jessica, can you share with us?
Yeah, thank you for asking me. This is something that I had, watched the training on, and I just started trying it to see. I like the idea, and I thought, why not? And so I've had great success. Now, something I do offer that not all coaches offer, and it's up to you what you want to do with it, is a financial incentive for it. So I do personally offer a $25 wellness credit when a client tags me and does this accountability post. It does open a door, I feel like, even more so to some people that are very standoffish to the idea of going public in their health journey. But whenever they know that, oh, well, it could help me afford my box a little bit better, it does, I feel like, continue to help bring it up, well, if you want to do this. So I personally do that. I know coaches that don't offer it, and it's the expectation, and they have great success with it. So play around with it, see what works for you. But with this accountability post, it gives them the opportunity to open up their community. So they already have a pot of people. They already have their own community. So they're kind of bringing both worlds, our community and their community, and everybody gets to be a part of this journey with them. So, when they're at other gatherings and things like that, they're more likely to hold themselves accountable when we're not there with them if they've gone public with their health journey. It also, as you know, brings people asking, like, what are you doing then? How did this happen for you? And then that also hopefully will lead to Coach Explorers and them wanting to coach, which, as we all know, that also helps with our own health journey and accountability. But even if it doesn't lead to them actually coaching right away, then that will also bring on hopefully some other people in the world that decide to join program and join them in a different capacity by hopefully being referred to you. But with the client way day post, the accountability post, there's so many layers to this that can help them on their journey and help them financially. One of the things that I love to do is when I'm on a call with my client is really listen for some, for their wins. I always ask them, what are you proud of from this week? And it looks different for everybody. And so whenever those things, when they tell me, they say, wow, if you said this and this and this on your Facebook, like, how many people do you know that's struggling with that right now? I kind of turn it to that with, just using what they say. Or if I'm on a call with a client and they're like, man, the scale's moving and I'm seeing like my clothes are fitting differently, but I don't see it when I look in the mirror. I'm like, okay, hold up. Like, let's put your pictures together. And I have them send me pictures, and I would do it too. Put it together for them. I put the disclaimer on it for them. And I'm like, look at this. Do you see this? Like, this is incredible. I can tell a difference. I'm sure your friends can tell a difference, so like they can see that. I've had so many people be so excited by that comparison, having that done for them. And then they already have it and it's easy. And so you're like, hey, what if this is your accountability post right now? You share this. And, so just helping it be simple for them. And just even, typing out the words for them, like what they're going to say. Hey, this is what you could say. Feel free to change it, make it your own. But this is an example of like what we were talking about. So I do bring it up quite often when it comes to client way day posts, depending on, trust your gut, trust your instinct, your client. So just whatever that relationship looks like, really lean into it and listen with your heart so that you can help them posture something that's going to sound like them. It's going to be true to who they are and their own personal journey so that they can live out loud and they don't die in the dark. And whenever you do that, it just invites so many more people in to support you and their success.
That's really good, Jessica. Thank you. And there is, when I do the post, and I have the link to the documents from the Set for Success, they actually have examples of the wording that you could send to somebody of what it is that they would actually post. So if you had to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, and you can give yourself a 0 if you don't ask for the accountability post, but on a scale of 1 to 10, on your success rate with helping bring clients to be more open with their journey and the accountability post, whether it's on day 8 or a future date, just pop it in the chat. Be real obvious, real honest with what your success ratio is. Okay. Great, thanks. All right, beautiful. Thank you for sharing, and you can keep them coming in. Something that it was brought up in the Set for Success training call, and I was very convicted of it, is we have to really be thinking of if you're not getting the results. Now, is everybody going to share their journey? No, they won't. Right? Not everyone will. But if you're coming in really low, like your batting average is super low, right? With making any hits on this, a couple things to do is to think about whenever we're not getting the results we want, it's skills, actions, or concepts. And I would tell you probably most likely in this arena, it's a concept. It's a concept, maybe thinking, because I remember thinking, like when I first heard this, I was thinking, making it about me. Oh, I don't think I would want to do a post if I was a client. So I was bringing it up, but remember what I said before, whatever you're thinking comes out of your mouth. It comes out almost like, you don't want to do a post, do you? Like, even though I'm not saying that, that's what's coming out, right? Or if they say no, it's like, well, I knew they wouldn't anyway, right? And so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of what we're doing. So much of this is I just encourage you to be curious about your own thinking around it. Are you thinking that they're going to think you're being pushy? Are you thinking that this is about you getting more clients? Because I can absolutely tell you, or them becoming a coach, it is not. It is for their success, because we know when they live out loud that they're just going to have more success, right? Just like we know when they're connected to the coach, the more connections they have to their coach, the more compliant they are to the program. It's a proven. And so anything we're doing, so just I encourage you to question yourself and play with it and practice it. And that wording of the most successful clients do this, my most successful clients do this, is going to make a big difference in our posturing and our expectation around it. Now, if they're not willing to post on Facebook or post on Facebook yet, maybe they're not a poster, maybe they're not whatever. They could go into our Eat, Live, and Be Healthy group. That would be a practice round, right? So, and usually they get so much feedback from that it can build the confidence. Or Dr. A talks about in page 41 of the Life book, he talks about and encourages people to identify 5 friends and 5 accomplices of people that they're going to ask to hold them accountable. So it could be a text that they text to people, but we're just looking for people to get out of the dark and out of their box with it. It's important that you do this request for the Way Day post before, like while you're scheduling the client call or the celebration and tips call, because what we want to be able to do is go into that celebration tips call that hopefully they've done the post and you can talk about what's happening with it. Or if they haven't done it, that's just another opportunity that your coach can then edify why you are asking for it and why that can be an important part of the journey. So step 3 is, so we're going to be doing the accountability post. The step 3 of the 4 steps to integration is having that celebration and tips call, not asking for it, but actually doing it. So I've asked Stephanie Sweeney to speak for a few minutes about the celebration tips call.
Yeah. Hi. Yes. Thank you. Yes. The celebration and tips call, again, like Dee mentioned, it's all about that posturing and what you expect. Our clients, we're in touch with them that first week that they're on. I think trying to make it a habit of at day 4, when they're getting into fat burn and they're all excited and all of these different non-scale victories are happening already, their energy is going up. They had no idea. They didn't know what they didn't know. And so they already had made that commitment to the program. They've had that connection with you. And so they had that trust with you. And so to integrating them more into the community is the celebration call. And again, it's all how you posture it. And don't ask, tell. This is the next step, and all with excitement for it too. And then kind of bring yourself back to that first week that you were on plan as well. And say, oh my goodness, I am so excited that you're having this so much energy. The next thing that we do is you get to meet my coach. You get to meet my coach, Meg. Whoever your FIBIC is or your global, check with your mentoring team to who that is that you'll celebrate. You'll set up those celebration call. And on day 4, try to make it a habit of that. Make it a little note of when you have your check-in call and say, I'm so excited for you to meet my coach. My coach has been coaching a whole lot longer than I have and can share a lot of tips with you, maybe answer some questions, and actually just want to just celebrate you and all these victories that you're having. And, if they've done a Way Day post, say, oh, and just celebrate that you've had this post, or I know you're maybe apprehensive about that. And we can talk about that. But you know what? What's more important is celebrating all these success. So I'm very excited that you get to celebrate with my coach, and it's all about you. And that's some wording that you can use. And right then, whether, check to see if your FIBIC or your next level has a Calendly or how they celebrate, how they set up those celebration calls. And right then and there, get it on a calendar. Open up your phone, have them bring out their calendar so you can schedule that out for the following week. And some of them, you can even let them know, like, this is going to be our next weekly call. And then you can start planting that connection with you too, of setting up your next weekly calls with those celebration calls. And the whole point of these celebration calls really is to not only integrate your clients into our community and show them that it's not just, they're not just dieting in the dark. It's not a diet. They're not just on a one-on-one with a coach. They have a whole community outside, and it just, branches out and just shows how much more they're supported and integrating them more. And that, on those celebration calls, your coach will also validate your skills as a coach to them and show them how easy it is to have this connection, because there's not the perfect coach too. And it might be a time where they're bringing up possibly coaching, because they'll find out like, okay, so what are you noticing? And then who else is noticing? And then it also just helps validate the 4 components, saying, these are the ways that you're going to be more successful. You're going to stay connected with your amazing coach. You're going to get into the community, get into your life book, and stay on plan. And of course, it's a chance to kind of navigate some of the maybe some of the challenges that they've had. And I don't know about any of you, if you've had this experience on these celebration calls. It's kind of like if you're a parent and you tell your child over and over the same thing and they don't listen, but they hear the same exact wording from somebody else and then they do. And so it's just like, it's a aha. So, you can kind of go through some of those challenges too. And it just builds up that trust as well as building up that community and integration.
Yeah, you beautifully stated, really, really stated well. I guess I would ask the same question. If you had to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, with I bring every client to a tip celebration call is a 10, and then 1 is, it's not happening, or 0 is I'm not asking or inviting to that call. All right, cool. 9, I love this. So we've come a long way as an organization. This is huge, huge. Good. Good. Again, if you're falling, below that, 8 to 10 or whatever, I would ask yourself and really go back to what we said before, going back to it with curiosity, because it really is skills, actions, or concepts. And is there something going on in your mind around that? I've had coaches say to me, like, please don't bring up coaching on the call. Like, they're scared to death, like I'm going to run off a client. And it's not what that's about, right? Like, coaching is in somebody else's best interest. And I've had the same situation where somebody said, please don't bring up coaching, because they were making an assumption the person wasn't interested. And then when the conversation naturally evolved that direction, the person was like, yeah, I'd actually be willing to take a look at that. So that kind of goes back to the Matthew Kelly thing we watched at the beginning, is like, we tend to want to assume or prejudge. And I would say this is probably the doing that accountability post and this tip celebration call is probably 2 areas we assume the most. And you probably know the quote about assuming, right? Never really a good idea to assume. But I think this is where we put our own opinions and thoughts into the situation the most. So be curious about it, because this is something that you can actually really radically shift pretty quickly in the way that you present it and actually in your success rate. And so ultimately what happens, so then step 4, but I'm going to give it like a 3.5. So step 3.5 is we're going to come out of that tip celebration call. And then you've still got your role, right, of what you're doing as a coach, where you're looking every week to be integrating them into the system, to be talking to them about their life book. What did you learn in your life book? I remember Lori Cole shared something great one time. She said, if they said, well, I haven't opened it, Lori would say, well, can I share with you something I learned this week? I think that was you, Lori, that said that. That was, like just being able to posture like, hey, this is what we do, but being able to continue to do that and having it so that any kind of conversation around coaching or referrals should be very, very natural, right? When we posture this with confidence that we are different, this is what we are about, these conversations should flow. And I can tell you, I've if you don't know me, I've told you, like, for almost 4 or 5 years, I was a primarily frontline coach. I could, coach the dickens out of the program and a lot to the meal plan. I'm not going to lie. I coached a lot to the meal plan. But because I had concepts about coaching. I had concepts about coaching, and it was all what was going in my head. When I flipped that, and when I realized what coaching did for other people, and I opened myself up to these processes and what works, and it's just gotten better since that time, you've seen what happened, right? And so remember that everything we're doing is for the other person, right? We're not doing this to get more clients. We're not doing it to build your business. We're going to help somebody else achieve what it is they want, to awaken them to what's possible. And the outcome will ultimately be that there's going to be a benefit to you. But that's the old Zig Ziglar, right? You help other people to get what they want, and that's going to help you lead to what you want. So 3.5 is you're going to keep the conversations going. Step 4 is the actual Coach Explore, and inviting people to come and take a peek at coaching. Let's just take a look, right? What I like to say is, would you be willing to explore it? Dan Bell taught me these words, and I love these words. I don't know if it's going to be for you or not, but at least you would know what you're saying yes or not yet to. But I think anytime we put something back to somebody that, like, you know what, you still get to make a decision. I don't know if coaching's for you or not. You get to make a decision, but let's at least take a peek at it, and you could see what was possible. Now, if you follow this process, what they said on the Set for Success thing was, if we followed this process through, that out of every 5 clients that you have, that you would probably bring ultimately 2 of them to a Coach Explore. 2 out of your 5 to a Coach Explore, and ultimately 1 would likely become a coach. So if we're not having those kind of success ratios, and I can tell you as an organization, we really aren't. I take responsibility because I know that we haven't really been going over these processes over and over and over again. And it's something that we all have to get comfortable with. But again, go back to, if you're not getting those kind of results, or you're thinking none of my clients want to be coaches, go back, and I would encourage you to be honest with yourself, is how am I posturing this? How am I doing on my side? What are my thoughts? What might I be contributing to this? Because what Dan taught me, Dan Bell, was, my clients are no different than any other coaches in the organization, right? People are people are people are people. So that is really our main topic for tonight. I am going to invite you, if you want to stay on, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the Thanksgiving giveaway. It's a voluntary offer you might want to do for your clients this week. I had shared about it in my top 5 tips for helping more people. So I've gotten questions about it, so I'll stay on to answer questions about that. But otherwise, just want to remind you, because it's going to come up quickly after Thanksgiving, we will have team time on Monday, next week, the 28th. But then the following Saturday is the big conference, right? That's our big national conference. The agenda was just released. The speakers were just released. It is going to be incredible. And this event is a virtual event. It is open to all of us. The cost is very nominal. The investment is your time, and the wisdom that what you're going to walk away with is going to be well worth it. But just don't want to miss that. Make sure you've got it on your calendar, because the holidays are coming. Everything's going to sneak up on us very, very fast. So thank you to Jessica. Thank you to Stephanie for helping us out tonight, for your great contributions. Thank you to you guys for being here and investing in yourself and learning more to be able to help more and help integrate your clients. And if you want to stay on, I'll keep this recording, just stay on, and we'll talk for a minute about the Thanksgiving giveaway. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the image for it, because we can kind of talk through this. Can you guys see this? Can somebody unmute for a second? I lose you guys when I share.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
We can see it.
All right, perfect. Okay, great. So this was an idea that I've been doing some collaborating with other IPDs and things that they're doing in their organizations that are working. And this was an idea that was presented as opposed to like a Black Friday offer, or just a, hey, I'm giving everybody $25 wellness credits who start by the end of the month. This is just a variation, something different to do. The number one thing I want to say is that this is totally voluntary. If you ask me, I truly believe that our program is worth every penny that it costs, that we really don't need to be offering any kind of incentive on a regular basis to people. But occasionally we may want to. And in this time of year, sometimes people are thinking, I'm just going to wait till January. But this might help move somebody who wants to get started with their program. So what this offer is it's a really pound for pound. And basically what we're going to say is, hey, I'm going to do a health assessment with a new client, and I'm also offering it to my reactivated clients that would qualify for the accelerator bonus. So, hey, let's talk about your goals. Let's see about what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Somebody tells me, hey, I would really like to lose 25 pounds. Awesome. How about if I give you $25 wellness credit off your program to help get you started? Now I'm going to go ahead and have their yes, that they're going to do this. We're going to set up their account and I'm going to put that wellness credit on or go back into their account if they're an existing client and offer this. But I rarely have people tell me they want to lose 50 or more pounds, but put a cap on it at 50 for it, right? $50 off up maximum. So that's for the front end of it. Are there questions around that? Feel free to just unmute yourself.
Hey, Dee, this isn't really a question. Sure. And I hate pointing this stuff out, but I'm an English teacher and it doesn't go away. Yeah. But the word receive is spelled wrong. So if
oh, thank you. Yeah. Yep. There's a period in there that shouldn't be there too, I see. Where it says order period that you lose. So yeah. I'll send this back to our assistant. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I before E except after C. Yeah. Yeah. No, details matter. So I appreciate that. All right. Okay. So that is that. Again, this is optional. Wellness credits. If you're watching this and you're not familiar with wellness credits are something that we as independent contractors can offer. Basically, there's a video, we can show you how to do it, but basically you put $25 or whatever the amount is on somebody's account. It comes off as a discount, but it is charged to you on your credit card. And, but you can use it as a tax deduction. It would be like a tax and a marketing expense for you. Now, the second phase of this is to help people get integrated, right? We don't want one-hit wonders. We don't want people that just come in and just try, I just need a jump start and I'm going to move on to my next thing. No, we're looking for people to integrate. We want to help and encourage that. So the second phase of this is to offer them $1, say, hey, here's the great news. For as much as you lose between now, when you get started through the end of the year or before your next order, I'm going to give you $1 off for every pound you lose. Now, we know most women lose about 8 to 10, men lose 10 to 15. So we're talking nominal. That's going to probably come out of your pocket for that. But that's just a fun little way to kind of keep people engaged for a second wellness credit. So, so really twofold. I'm personally marketing that this is good through kind of like my Black Friday offer. And I'm saying it's my best offer I've ever offered and that it's good through November 30th. Now, will I do something in December? Will I say it's extended? I don't know yet, but a lot of times when we do things just like our challenges with a sense of urgency, something like that, it can make a difference. So, so I hope you're excited about it. We just thought it was fun. It was different. We're always trying to come up with ideas that we can, like I said, our program is our program is our program. It is worth every penny. But there's sometimes things that we can do that create a sense of urgency that might be able to help you or help you recirculate back out to people who've been on the fence. I always think if we have something new, something different to offer people, it's better than just, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? That sort of thing. So good. Glad you like it. Questions on anything else that's coming up in the future through, just have a minute or two if you've got a question. All right, well, we're good to go then. All right, well, good. I'm glad you guys stayed on for this. Any other questions, you can always bring them to our Facebook group. Hope you guys have a phenomenal Thanksgiving with your family. And we will see you in the Facebook group during the week and on our team time again next week. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.